Okay, let's take a look at your report here. First, let's check some general things. So first, your speed. Currently, your speed is about 110 in our calculation, which is the same to elite men's average.
I think, yeah, I know a lot of my numbers based on hitting for 10 years, 15 years on TrackMan, so
It
it's
is,
a little slow, but
yeah, this is a bit lower than what you get from TrackMan, because the way we calculate the
measure different.
yeah. But so basically, you're at the men's average here. And for your height, you're a bit short, but fairly close to elite men's average. Elite men include professional, collegiate players, and teaching professionals.
Yeah.
And then your overall swing time is about 1,000, slightly over 1,000 milliseconds. So this is close to average.
Okay.
But you need to actually shorten your swing time. That means that you need to have a bit faster backswing. And also, so this shows the cleavage speed, right?
Okay.
And then cleavage speed peaks about here in the backswing. This is top of backswing here.
Okay, yeah.
This is during the backswing, and then it peaks here, which is around the 2, which means the club is in horizontal position.
Okay.
So in the backswing, the cleavage speed is club head is moving the fastest around here. This is too early. That means you have an early motion of the club, but then it slows down. Yeah.
So we need to.
So rather for the overall dynamic motion, you have to keep the peak value about here later. Then you have a good transition from backswing to downswing.
Okay.
So you have early activation to probably wrist more. Here it shows 3 and 4 are overlapped. 3 is when the lead arm is parallel to ground in the backswing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So this is 3.
Yeah.
4 is when the club is aligned vertically in the frontal view.
Yeah.
They happen at the same time. That means you are initiating the wrist cock early.
Yeah.
And then let's go to the top view here. One thing you can obviously see is that this is a swing plane here, but your club head goes really high in the backswing.
The video I'm showing, from old school golf is the part that I don't like, with it kind of up and it's always short, relatively, and twisted. I always feel like.
So I will look at this again, and then let's go to the top view here.
So this is like during a tournament, real live swing. I think I would have sent that in there, but for me, it's like it goes like from a golf technique standpoint, it's too up and twisted and feels short. And I think I move okay, but I don't know.
But the main problem is the crossover alignment.
Yes, exactly.
So when that happens, then this is what happens here. So this is top view.
Yeah.
This large rectangle.
Swing plane going to the right.
Yeah, this large rectangle shows that the swing plane is slightly aligned toward the right side of the target. But this is perfect for drivers.
Driver, good.
Yeah. But this smaller rectangle is your hand motion plane. Your hands are moving in this direction here. So this is the hand motion plane here. It is directed this way here.
Yes.
It's because of the crossover position. Right. In order to bring the club head and then move it along the swing plane, your hands have to come in quite a bit.
Right. I think my main goal in learning here today is that golf for me generally been pretty good for a long time, but
so let's say
it's the left and right.
It could be still the backswing could be the hand could be here, but you have to drop the club head a bit closer to the swing plane. So if at the top the club stays more or less parallel to the swing plane, then the size of the backswing does not matter.
Right.
If they show similar deviations from the swing plane, then the more or the less, still it's just a matter of size of the backswing, but you don't have to change the way your hands have to move.
It's always like the club just
You have to compensate there. Yeah. So probably at this position, all you need to feel is just a little bit of a layoff, not too much, right?
Yes.
So drop the club head toward the swing plane a bit more.
Trying to figure out how to get there is that's the hardest part.
So that's why maybe use a mirror or something. That once you feel what it's like,
Yeah.
when you do that, then in your feel, this is when the club is parallel to the swing plane.
Right.
Then it'll be a bit easier. Once the swing plane, once the club head is brought down to a swing plane closer, then downswing becomes a lot simpler.
I feel like easier to
Or
adjust speed because in golf.
and then in your perspective, what all matters is just throw the club fast in the backswing.
Yes.
Just reverse the direction. You don't have to worry about
Yeah.
changing this, and then just reverse and then let it go.
Right.
But currently, you know that the club head is way out here, so you have to drop it quite a bit.
Yeah. Subconsciously.
So that's why the swing plane becomes really flat here. But so in the top view, what we can see is that the hand motion plane is really inward. So this discrepancy is big here because the swing plane is on the average 1.2 degrees out, and then the hand motion plane is on the average 13.9 degrees in. So that means that we have about 15 degree difference, angle gap between the two planes.
And the most elite striker would be close to, not at zero.
Generally,
not
if
the
you,
same, but
generally you will see that so if you look at the normal distribution here, those at the center are showing similar deviations. So the two planes show, close to zero angle gap.
would you speculate that we're trying to get to zero, or should there always be?
No, naturally, if you use more body-driven swing, leg-driven swing, then because you are just try to throw the club, then the hand motion and club motion are better matched.
Really close together.
But here, because you go up here and then try to pull it in, your hands are going here. Actually, this angle gap is too extreme.
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest angle gap that I've seen.
That's good. Not good for my golf, but good to learn.
So again, this is because of the club head position at the top.
Yes.
So in general, if your swing plane is relatively simple, then all you just worry about is moving this way in the reverse the direction and throw this way. So imagine you're fishing with the pole, that you're throwing the hook through the spot here, then you don't do this.
Right.
You don't do like this. Just bring it back and then throw.
Yes.
So the same thing. You have an active backswing, and then throw the club this way, and then let it go around your body, and then simply reverse the direction and throw. The motion becomes really simple.
I think, and again, I've done okay doing it this way for 35 years, but always curious to do better. Because I find, it gets windy like Texas and where I live near Toronto, to be able to go slower sometimes. That's, unless I'm really feel good with my swing, lots of practice, to be able to hit, a 7-iron half speed into the wind needed.
Sometimes they hit down.
It's very difficult because then it's like if I go slow, I'm trying to find where the club is, and this is I hit this shot okay, but that was a buddy taking a still shot. In my experience in golf, the club head should be much closer to my hands here.
Yeah.
And instead of this on the way down, it's more just all tracking together.
So and also when your hands are traveling inward, then the hand motion plane tends to become flatter.
Yes.
You go flat this way,
Right.
then the swing plane is also affected by that.
Right.
So for better control, we need to reduce this angle here, the angle gap. And then, so let's take a look at the swing plane here. This is your swing plane, which is calculated from the club head motion, horizontal to horizontal here.
Okay.
And then extended the plane all the way up here. Then what we see is that, again, at the top, the hands are deviated about here. The club head is here. So the club head shows a lot more deviation from the swing plane. So this is a crossover. Regardless of the size of the backswing, as long as the club head deviates a lot more than the hands from the swing plane, then it's a crossover. When the crossover, you achieve crossover position at the top of backswing, then on the way down, you have to
It has to go
compensate
back.
that, right? So your hands tend to go inward. So as you can see, your hand pad here goes this way, and then around the
Going
impact, yeah, it's going closer to the body, going in this way. And then with that, now in the follow through, here the club head goes below the swing plane slightly,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
and then eventually catches up here and then goes slightly above. So this deviation is a lot smaller than this.
Right.
So this pattern is called the spiral pattern because essentially it starts from the high position and then go low here.
And then twist that.
Yeah. So it's a spiral. There are three different styles. One is a planar pattern. Then this deviation and this deviation are reasonably balanced.
Yeah.
And then the club head does not go below the swing plane.
Not below.
And you will have really well-defined swing plane here. So even in this case here, because the club head is gradually coming down toward the swing plane here, about here now the club head is in the swing plane, right?
Yes.
But the calculation started from here.
Right. Right at the
So,
middle.
so what we see here is that the club is not quickly coming toward the swing plane, but it's coming down gradually here.
Took a long time.
And then in the downswing, it tends to go below the swing plane here. But when you have a planar swing pattern, it quickly comes toward the swing plane, and you will see really clean planar motion. And then after that, it goes above the swing plane here. So the deviation at the top is about this much here. Then the deviation here is about this much here.
Yeah.
Well balanced.
And that's
And then,
planar. Yeah.
yeah, planar, and then spiral. And then the third one is a reverse spiral.
Like slicer.
So when you intentionally lay off the club head,
Yes.
so then at the
then
top, the club head stays quite close to the swing plane. Then on the way down, what happens is the hand has to be dropped. The club head goes below the swing plane early, and then later, you have to flip up here.
Yeah.
So here, at the top, backswing top, the deviation is not much, but here you have a large deviation here,
On the other side.
going up
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this. So it's called the reverse spiral.
Yeah. Right. No,
So there are three patterns, and
not
in,
elites, I would imagine.
and in your case, it is a spiral swing here. And then also, the swing plane itself is fairly flat here,
Okay.
considering your height.
Okay.
So currently, the slope of the swing plane is about 45.5 degrees on the average here. For your height, it's got to be 47, slightly over 47.
Overall trend.
So it has to pass more this way here. So interestingly, you stay really high away from the swing plane in terms of the club head here, but then on the way down, you drop it too much because you have to bring it in here.
Yes.
So the hands are leading the club quite a bit here, and then the hands going in like this. And then this is the spiral swing is coming from arm-driven swing.
Yeah. I think it probably, I would speculate that it's me feeling like
So yeah, what you do is you lift the arm up here and then try to pull it down here. So then later we'll look at how you interact with the ground, but we'll also see some issues the way you use the ground. Okay. The pelvis motion here. This one is a rotation. So the red line shows a rotation here, angular motion. This is the angular motion, but the red line is a rotation. So the pelvis.
Those are all the swings overlaid on top of each other?
This is five swings.
With all
Average of 5 swings. So the middle one is the average pattern,
Okay.
and then it shows a standard deviation.
yeah, okay.
So if you see this is wide, that means you have large standard deviation.
Just, right.
So the rotation to the right here, then this is the endopelvis rotation. So rotation completed, coming back, and this is the impact here. Generally, we see a more balanced turn here. So maximum turn this way, and then also position at the impact. These are reasonably balanced. But you have a bit more turn this way here. But this is not too bad. And I've seen people with excessive turn this way, not much turn this way.
Don't get to.
And then the blue line shows a so-called lateral tilt. So the pelvis goes this way here. So as the backswing progresses, the right side stays high, the left side stays low. Okay. So with that, we have a lateral tilt. It's a left tilt. Left side is tilting down.
Yeah.
And then this is about equal to men's average, but I want to see more lateral tilt.
Okay.
Okay. So the height difference between the right hip and the left hip should be increased. But in your case, you have a tendency of dropping the left side, and then with that, you are creating this lateral tilt. But at the same time, you have to bring the right hip up. So it's important to move the right hip up.
It's like the push or the straightening of the right leg. Almost.
Yeah, by pushing the ground, that means that you have to extend your right leg.
Yeah.
With that, the hip moves up here, instead of hold it there and then dropping the left side.
Right.
So, and then usually when you have a good right leg action, then this line will go almost straight all the way to this point, and then you will show even more lateral tilt. But now here you have almost a two-stage motion here.
Yeah.
So the lateral tilt is developing up to this point. This is probably mainly coming from dropping the left side. So from here, by dropping the left side, you're creating the lateral tilt up to this point.
Yeah.
And it plateaus here.
And then kind of just turns around.
And then to do this, you are dropping the whole body a little bit. And then, so initially you develop this lateral tilt up to this point. It plateaus and then develop the lateral tilt again. So it's almost a two-stage motion. So when this happens, usually you're using a spinning motion in the backswing. When you spin, then you cannot use the ground that well. So to use the ground, you have to do something after that.
Yeah.
So when you have good trail leg action, push the ground during the backswing, moving this up here, you can have one continuous motion all the way here. But if you initially spin first by dropping this side here, and then try to do something. So you have two-stage motion here. And then also, this blue line is the up and down motion of the pelvis center of mass.
Okay.
And then as you can see, it's the same thing. It goes down, but it stays there for a while and then dropping again. So you have two-stage motion.
Yeah.
And then also, this green line shows the toward the away motion of the pelvis. And then initially it goes slightly away from the target. And then, so actually at the setup, you are somewhere here, okay, at the setup.
Yeah.
So this comes to the initial position here.
Okay.
And then before the swing actually starts, you are moving away.
Yeah.
So by the time the club head starts moving, that's this point here. Already you are in the away position here.
Sliding
compared to initial. This away motion is okay, but the problem is now it's moving toward and away again. When you have two peaks, then that means you're spinning.
Yes.
You're spinning.
Not
instead of
the whole time.
Yeah. So if your pelvis and thorax, the trunk is inclined forward a little bit, right? So about 40 degrees, let's say.
Yeah.
Then from here, if you turn the spine about the spine axis, then your body turns this way here.
Yes.
Going this way here. But in order to lift the arm up here, what happens is your body is spinning.
This is going this way.
It's going, more going this way here.
Yeah, and the arms go
So,
separate.
so when you spin, then the butt automatically starts this way. The upper body leans that way. So in the backswing, if you see this kind of trend, then that means a spinning. And then when spinning occurs, if you look at the ground reaction force pattern here, so these two are the forces acting on your feet.
Independent.
This is the combined force.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
When you have spinning, then during the backswing, you will see that the force is pretty much upright.
Right. I'm just kind of standing there.
Yeah, it doesn't have this inclination.
Yes.
Now you're developing a little bit inclination here. So this is top of backswing, but it's still not that much.
And to be more dynamic, we would want to
Then-
see
then you have
that
to-
earlier, right?
Usually at the beginning of the backswing, everybody does reasonably, so incline this force a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to actually maintain the inclination, keep the center pressure close to the trail side here, and then you have to develop good inclination of the force
Get that
throughout
the
the
moment
backswing.
arm there.
Throughout the backswing,
grows,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. So
Got nothing.
and then this is when the pelvis rotation is completed, but you have really short momentum here.
Yeah, there's nothing, no potential.
And then at the top here, you're developing more, inclination here, but still this is reasonably short.
Yes.
But this is actually, close to the men's average here. It's not too bad. However, here's one problem. It increases rapidly and then shortens rapidly. So that means in terms of peak value, the longest momentum, which occurs about here, so you have this momentum here, which is longer than men's average. Okay. However, this is so quick and then it shortens rapidly after that.
Disappears.
Shortens rapidly. So the torque generated is also decreasing rapidly.
Right.
So this is the amount of torque you generate using the ground in the frontal plane. This is top of backswing.
Yep.
And from here to this is the early downswing when the lead arm is parallel to the ground. To this point,
Yes.
you need to have a big area here, but because it is so sharp and go up and the coming down here, so the area is called the angular impulse. This is the overall effect of torque exertion,
Yes. Okay.
and you need to maximize this area. But because the peak is so sharp and coming down,
I had it in there, but it disappeared.
but those who are working with the ground real well, they already generate a large torque at the top of backswing here,
Really?
and pretty much maintain this up to this point here. So it just stays here, or
Yeah.
goes a bit higher.
So closer to impact, it would.
So when the body spins, then usually what happens is during the backswing, you will see that the force stays vertical. And also in your case, from the beginning, you already have more force acting on the trail side here instead of leader side. So in order to interact with the ground really well, then you have to unload the leg and then load.
Yes.
So you have to repeat unloading, loading, unloading, loading. That means the best way to work with ground is having stepping-like action.
Yeah.
So
I've seen your content for the last 2 years.
So
I'm thinking I'm doing it without the measurements.
so you already shifted this way here. You're putting more force here.
Yeah.
Instead,
Yeah.
at the beginning, you have the more force on this side,
Yeah, take
so
it
unloaded here.
Yeah.
And then during the backswing, because you have to use this leg, for that, before that, you unload this side.
You need nothing.
Yeah, start with the unloading,
Yeah.
and then you load and then push here.
Yeah.
Then you will be able to use this leg a lot better.
Yeah.
But if it's already here, it's hard to do
here.
this.
I just lift my arms, I turn, but it's
So,
not.
so what happens is you're just spinning and then lifting your arm here.
Yeah.
This always with more force on this side here.
Right. Right.
But then, still the difference. When you start with more force acting on the trail side here, then around 2 here where the club is horizontal, around here, we need to see almost the maximum difference between the trail side and the leader side. That means around here,
Yeah.
this center pressure has to go closer to the trail side,
Get it all.
a lot more. But
Yes.
it just the difference is not much here. So it stays closer to the center of the stance here.
what started there, but we didn't
Yeah.
get any more.
But with a similar effort, if you start with less force on the trail side, and then during the early part of the backswing, if you load on the trail side, then this will automatically shift this way more.
I can picture Bryson's swing. He seems to really stamp into that right leg.
He's a bit too exaggerated.
It's a lot. But for me, at least mentally, to see it like...
So the easy way to use the legs actively is you just repeat unloading, loading. So before the loading, before the main action from that leg, you should have unloading of that side.
Right.
So at the beginning, if you have more force acting on the lead side here, then after that you will be able to load onto the trail side. Then this will go high up, and this decreases more here.
It's shocking to see the actual measurements because I thought that I was...
This-
I
so-
feel like I'm going, but maybe it's just like maybe upper body moving or whatever. But
So-
it's not actually...
So the center pressure shift should come from the actual force, gradient,
Yes,
not shifting the body.
right. Pressure.
In the static condition, the center of mass position and center of pressure positions are related. So in the static position, if you shifted the body,
Yeah,
center of mass, then center of pressure also shifts.
so I don't follow.
But in dynamic motion,
Separate.
center of mass motion, if this is much, then the center of pressure moves a lot,
Yes.
and the force goes this way, and the force goes this way
Yes.
to maintain,
Right.
to prevent the body from flipping, right? So always center of mass moves about this much, but center of pressure moves a lot more, and the force goes here, and the force goes here. This motion here.
Yes. And then that's a lot of the videos talking about
Yeah.
head. You don't have to keep the head still, but it will stay in that
It
cone.
doesn't move that much automatically.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
If you're like pushing hard, push.
So by pushing the ground down and out, so the force acts this way and the force acts this way. Using this, you're confining your body within the cone space.
Right. Love it.
But in this case, because you're already leaning away, so as we saw in the pelvis motion here, so initially the setup, this is the starting position, let's say.
Yeah.
Then this is when the cleavage starts moving.
Moving.
Yeah. But from here to here, you shifted the pelvis away initially. So you are shifting the pelvis early, but you're not really creating good push with the...
Yeah, the pressure and the mass is moving together instead of...
And so what happens is from here, you already
I'm just
shift this way and then try to turn here.
leaning instead of pressing.
So that's why we see the force pattern like that. And then if you, it shows a thorax motion, but the red line shows which direction the thorax axis is, pointing. So if you look down, the thorax axis is more pointing forward, right?
Okay.
And then,
Forward. Yeah.
and then during the swing, it shows a swiveling.
Yes.
And then when the backswing, progresses, then the thorax tends to swing more this way here, toward the target.
Pelvis would be more here, top of spine.
And then you have a slight reverse pivot. When you feel slightly, it's a slight reverse pivot posture, that means the thorax axis is swinging
Yes.
or swiveling more toward the target.
Yes.
But in your case, you don't have that. It's just the same.
More like this.
They're always leaning away,
Yeah.
and it maintains all the way here. So when you have an active arm and the club motion, then your thorax has to,
Kind of counterbalance.
for the counterbalance,
So red would actually go
the red line.
towards the
So
target.
red line starts a bit lower here,
Yeah.
and then it actually crosses this horizontal axis, and then comes down
and
here.
then tilt away.
Then you have really active thorax motion.
Yes.
But in this case, thorax axis is maintained because you're just lifting your arms.
Not dynamic.
And then X factor is okay. It's increasing continuously all the way to top of backswing here.
Thorax, hips.
Yeah, so this is separation between the shoulder and hips, and then it continues, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Kinematic sequences here. So these are based on the angular velocities,
Yep.
and basically it was assessed on the swing plane. And so you have a reasonably long transition phase. This is good. Okay. That means toward the end, you're not locking your trunk, so it keeps separating.
Continues.
Yeah. This is a pelvis transition point. This is the club transition point here. And then you have a reasonable spread here. The thorax and the shoulder lines are showing similar time point for the transition. That means you need to utilize your shoulder girdle range of motion more.
Separate.
Yeah. So the thorax versus the shoulder girdle here. So you need to. But if you lift the arms,
Yeah.
when you lift the arms, generally you discourage the shoulder girdle motion.
They're just kind of moving together.
Using the momentum, let it go, actively go around. Then, from the pelvis to all the way to the club, they will add range of motion.
More stretch.
Yeah. With that, this will be also separate a bit more. But the transition sequence is not too bad here. It's fairly actually
in the right order.
well
in the right order
separated.
at least. Yeah.
But the only thing is your wrist motion here, the pink line here. The pink line shows the wrist motion.
Okay.
So if it's negative, that means it's a cocking. Positive value means uncocking.
Overall.
It's overall
Wrist.
on the swing plane. It's,
Okay.
it's combined effect of the deviation and then palmar flexion, dorsiflexion,
okay.
and also you have pronation, supination all together.
All three.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, what we see here is on the swing plane how the club moves relative to the arms.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then, so with that, if it's a negative, then it is a cocking. If it goes positive, then it's uncocking. And then, so uncocking starts here, right after the top of backswing. So this means it's an early release. Because your swing is more arm-driven here.
Yeah.
So go up here, and then when you start using the arms, automatically the club starts uncocking.
Interesting.
It's called the early release.
Yes.
So this is men's average for the wrist angular velocity, but it's way below men's average.
Yeah.
So now, if you increase this, then this will further increase.
Right.
So you can have a lot higher speed.
Top, yeah.
But it's because it's a more arm-driven swing here.
Right.
And the arm-driven swing, when your arm is kind of rigid, then if you swing the arms, the club automatically goes out.
Yes.
So in order to delay the release here, there are different types. This is early release. Delayed release shows uncocking about here.
Right.
And then some people show early uncocking and then followed by recocking and then delayed uncocking.
Get it somewhere.
So when they use a little bit of layoff motion here,
Sergio kind of.
then initially it looks like it's uncocking.
Right.
On the way down, it's then showing more cocking after that, and then delayed release.
Right.
But that one, if the timing is too late, then you don't have much time from uncocking to impact. So this cannot go that high. So you have to do it carefully. But the best is by using the momentum and then let it go here.
Yes.
But if your goal is to just bring this high up to this position, then it stops and you have to start uncocking early. But if you feel the momentum of the club and then coming down here, still on early part of the downswing, you have down cocking. In the downswing, you still have more cocking.
The weight of the club is just.
Yeah, so it looks like you are maintaining good leg.
Yes.
Early part of downswing. And so generally, when you just lift this up and try to use the arms on the way down, then early uncocking.
I even see, I think my friends always, I swing so smooth, but I can see it would get more smooth.
You can use your wrist a lot better,
Yes.
or actually the wrist complex here.
Yes.
So the main thing is the pronation, supination motion. But
Yeah.
so then, if you increase this, then this will increase a lot more. But the more than that, in order to use the wrist better here, then you have to develop more body-driven swing.
Yes.
Because currently it's the arm-driven swing here.
Yes. Excellent.
And then so, now let's go back to this one here. And then once you are about here, you need to have a lot more force difference between the two. But because you already started from this, with more force on the trail side, you don't have much difference. You just maintain here. Then later you try to increase the difference. So this is end of pelvis rotation, so pelvis transition point. Yeah. Now it shows inclination, but still it's quite close to the center of mass.
Yes.
It's a developing inclination, but at the same time, the center of pressure is moving toward the trail side. That's why this distance is short.
Yes.
And then after that, toward the top of backswing, you are increasing the momentum quite a bit by inclining the force here. And also, this is near the maximum unweighting. So this is active push. You have unweighting here. So when the combined force is equal to the body weight, then they will cancel each other.
Right. Zero.
Okay. So you don't have net vertical force acting on the body.
Yeah.
If your ground reaction force is greater than the body weight, then it's active push.
Yes.
You have net vertical force,
yeah.
upward force. If your ground reaction force is less than the body weight, you have a net downward force. And then the way we interact with the ground is active push, unweight, active push, unweight. Repeat this.
Yes.
So in order to push the ground well, you have to unweight before that.
I need to go to the military and do some marching.
So when you have a good pusher here, using the trail side here, then you have this unweighting. After that, you can push the ground well with the lead side here.
Yeah.
So having stepping like action. But in this case here, your lead foot push is off time here. So the maximum push from the lead side should be about here. When the club is close to vertical position here,
right.
You must have maximum force coming from the lead foot here.
Yeah.
But it's severely delayed. Your peak actually occurs at impact.
Like impact.
You don't have a clear peak force from the lead side here. That's why your total force is not that large. That's why the torque decreases rapidly, because torque is momentum times force magnitude.
Yeah, force times.
Your momentum is shortening rapidly, but if you can increase the force rapidly, then it will be somewhat compensated, so you can slow down the decrease.
Yeah.
But your momentum is decreasing rapidly, and your force is not that large. So then the torque has to decrease rapidly.
Yeah, yeah.
So actually,
it's almost like I'm like the most.
Actually, about 7 here, okay? About 7, which is when the lead arm is parallel to the ground here, this force should be already shifted here, and then it should show vertical alignment here.
Yeah, because I'm more pressure into the lead. Yeah.
But in this case, this is severely, the motion of the center of pressure to the lead side is severely delayed, right? And then, so as we can see in the downswing, we don't see clear active push from the lead side here. Why? Because you are busy of pulling this in here.
It's interesting. That's another like golf look in my swing. Is I feel like my feet are very flat, like through impact. I don't get Justin Thomas. I don't need to be up like this through impact. But I feel like I'm just
because
pulling, and I'm always been kind of like here,
Yeah.
like at impact. It's
Yeah,
still
your arm is pulling this, dragging this in here. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But in order to roll the foot, lead the foot, and then really shift it to this side, push the ground, then you have the feel of throwing. Throw.
Yeah.
So using the speed developed here, using that, you just let it go, throw, then you can stand on the lead side, but instead of pulling this in here.
Right.
So your lead leg action is pretty weak at this point here. It should be a lot more active. So now let me show you another pattern that I use as a model. Then you'll be able to compare yours with his.
I was in the golf magazine in Canada a long time ago. The skates. Got to use that inside pressure more.
So this is Grant Waite,
Oh yeah.
yeah, the Australian.
Mm-hmm.
The top view here, you'll see that his planes are
Oh yeah.
well aligned here.
Oh boy.
And then this is the swing plane. Let me change the perspective. It's at the top is here. Hands and club head are showing very similar deviation. And then on the way down, the club head comes down to the swing plane early.
Right, it gets on it early. Yeah.
And here he has really clean planar motion. And then in the follow through, the club head goes above the swing plane and then reaches this position here.
Yeah.
So if this is when the club is vertical here.
Okay. Yeah.
But then if we go a bit more, then this deviation and this deviation should be fairly well balanced here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the swing plane is about 47 degrees.
Oh yeah.
47 degrees
Minus
here.
45.
And then pelvis motion here. You see continuous motion. Here, this is lateral tilt. This is a rotation. This is lateral tilt.
Yeah.
And also up and down motion. Goes down and then here, after the top of action, then it rapidly goes up here. And then for the away motion, so when the club head starts moving here, it did not shift the pelvis away that much, right? Yeah. And then have a pelvis shift here, away, and then this is recentering to this position here. And as you can see, he's having more centered pivot,
Yep.
a slight reverse pivot alignment
Yep.
here.
A little
Yeah.
bit of that.
And then continues to shift toward the target here. And with that, thorax crosses this line here.
Yeah, mine was just flat.
And then X factor keeps increasing all the way to the top. Kinematic sequence, it shows really well separated
Oh yeah.
transition here.
All the way.
Look at this down cocking here. This is
Yeah,
the wrist angular velocity. It shows a further promotion of wrist cocking,
So
and then uncocking starts here.
So yeah, it's low through the back, and then a bit more, and then.
Uncocking starts about here.
Yeah.
And then, so he generates more than man's the angular velocity more than man's average, and then the club head angular velocity exceeds that. Yeah. So he's generating a bit more speed than you. About 115.
Yeah.
But as you can see, again, peak occurs here later, not earlier.
Right.
So then rapidly slowing down the backswing motion and then starting the downswing motion.
I would think I would want a steeper slope too for mine. If I'm throwing it better,
Yeah.
it slows down
And then
quickly and changes
and then
quickly.
toward the end, you are slowing down actively and then reversing the direction.
Yes. Yeah.
Instead of early motion of the club and then slowing
Right.
down.
And it's just kind of the same all the way back. Right?
And then his swing, also overall swing time is shorter than yours, less than 1,000. And then, if you go to the way he uses the ground. So he has this peak out here first. At the beginning, he has
Something on
more
the left.
force acting on the lead foot.
Yeah.
And he's going slowly initially with the club, while the forces are switching here. Okay, now the two forces become equal to each other. Then you have a good loading on the trail side here.
Yeah, gap.
Now we have this B gap here. And then after that, it gradually decreases. But you actually have to develop good gap here. And then he has active push here. Then the unrating starts from here and all the way to, right after the top of action here. And then look at his momentum here.
Oh, yeah.
And also, his momentum is developing early. This is the pelvis transition point. He has a lot longer momentum than yours.
Yeah, mine is.
And also, so this is similar to your maximum. Okay, and then the force is now currently the minimum here because it's a unrating peak here. But because it's a momentum, he's generating this much torque from the beginning.
Yeah, right.
This is the same to man's average maximum. And then after that, even it goes higher. This is the peak.
I don't get any left.
And then 7 and 8. If you go from the top of action to this position here, if you take average, it'll be the same to, the average will be the same to a man's maximum.
Max, yeah.
And then also at the 7, when the lead arm is parallel to ground, he already shifts the ground reaction force, center pressure to the leader foot, and the force is vertical here. But in your case, it's staying at the center and then it's inclined.
It's almost still leaning.
And by the time you reach 8 here, when the force becomes the maximum here, the force error is actually inclined this way here. So the total force also slightly inclines away from the target. And you see a good push from the leader foot here.
Yeah.
With that, the magnitude increases. So at this point, still the torque is about here. It's not decreased that much.
Right.
Because of this magnitude here. That peak is coming from the leader foot peak here. So we have a good lead side push, trail side push, and the leader side push by alternating the feet.
Yeah.
So it's almost a stepping like action here. So that way he can interact with the ground well. Then with that in the kinematic sequence, we have good. So he has active backswing, and particularly the speed, particularly the club at speed, peaks toward the top of backswing instead of early on.
Like club head transition.
And then from there, actively slow down and then reverse the direction.
Yeah.
And it's possible because the club is almost parallel to the swing plane here. All he needs to do is just reverse the direction. And this is natural shallowing from the body motion.
Yeah.
When you have body motion here, from this position, the body goes, then this automatically drops. And then the club head path is almost horizontal here. Instead of going up here. If the club head goes up, and then it has to gradually come down toward the swing plane. But if the club head quickly moves toward the swing plane early on, then here already the club head is pretty much on the swing plane. Excuse me. So it's an interesting contrast, right?
Yeah.
And then so in terms of changing your swing pattern, it has to start from the way you use the ground, using more stepping like action.
Yeah.
And then so at the beginning of the back action, you should have unloading on the trail side.
Right.
And then with the initiation of the action, then you load on the trail side and then increase the push from the trail side. In the downswing also you have to use the little leg here. But that's why the stepping is so important.
Yeah.
So when you do the two-step swing drills, it has to mainly come from your leg actions instead of using the arms.
Right.
So, and also one way we can change this is if you have the image of making your backswing faster.
Yeah, I've been thinking about a lot with some of the training protocols and then all your content, but obviously it needs more work.
So if you have an intention of a faster backswing, then what happens is, in order to make a faster backswing, here, on this side, when you make a faster backswing, then automatically you have to use the ground better.
Right.
Because
fast, my
yeah,
brain says,
yeah.
oh, hang on, don't follow.
So without using the ground, you cannot really have faster backswing. There's only limit when you try to do the faster backswing with the arms, right? So you have to use the legs in order to have faster backswing. So by speeding up the backswing, it'll change a lot of things. And also, when you speed up the backswing, then you cannot lift the arm high and the club will go this way. Because when you have faster backswing and then going down here, you know that if the club head goes that way, then you have a lot of trouble. So when you have faster motion and then reverse, changing the direction, then typically you try to stay
I think
close to the swing plane.
If I throw it efficiently faster back, it's just going to track right up there.
So when you have, again, using a fishing pole, when you have slow motion, you can go this way or you can slightly go this way and then throw. You have different possibilities. But when you have faster motion and then reverse direction, then this is the only one. You cannot go here and throw. It's hard because you'll go around here. Yeah. If it's a slow motion, then you can go. You can just bring it this way and then come here and then throw.
It almost feels like my golf swing. I can picture that with fishing. It's like, if you go slow, you can do whatever you want, and then go through. And it's like.
So the advantage of faster backswing is it actually simplifies the motion path.
Yeah.
Because you know that when you're moving fast and then you go wrong direction, then you have big trouble. When you drive, you make a curve, then you have to be careful. Early on, if you're moving really fast and you're going wrong direction, then try to turn, the car flips, right? Yes. So you have to go out first and then cutting in. Yeah. So you have to find the right path for faster motion. Right. So your body has the instinct to reprogram the motion when the motion is fast. And actually, just to think about this, assume that there's an optimal speed, optimal backswing speed. Okay. When you use the optimal backswing speed, then the body motion organizes a lot better. You cut off all the unnecessary movements. Yeah. So when we walk, if we have optimal speed, then we cut down all these motions. So
it's almost harder to walk slow.
Yeah, when you walk slow, it's really difficult because you have more lateral motion when you walk slow, and then also your center mass also moves up and down also a lot. Yeah. But when you have a reasonable speed, because your goal is to move forward, easier to stay. Automatically you reduce this motion and also this motion. When you have a lot of up and down motion, it's hard timing-wise, right? So minimize the up and down motion and then try to use the forward force move. The same thing. If your goal is to move faster in the reverse direction throw, automatically the body knows how to get rid of all the unnecessary movement. Then the motion becomes simpler. And it's more along the swing plane. Although it will move away from the swing plane because of the anatomical limitation here. Right. However, the motion is generally along the swing plane, and you will be able to get rid of this off-plane motion a lot. So mostly it's going this way and then throw. With your ability, because you have played professional golf and then you played so many years, you have the ability to control this as long as you have the right intention. Yeah. So the intention should be faster backswing. And throw.
I can anticipate already, I don't want to go use that thought in a round of golf. I have to, like you say, reprogramming. Just do enough repetitions. This is a good time of year.
Yeah, always when you try to change something, it's got to be, the backswing and also the way you work with the ground. Yeah. You can see different symptoms, but you have to always address the cause, right? And that the cause is usually slow backswing and also,
very common.
Improper use of the body during the backswing, which is coming from slow backswing. Right. So you can, solve this problem with the one stone. Yeah. So it's an active backswing using the ground more. Yeah, so you activate the trail leg during the backswing. With that, you have active backswing. A lot of things change automatically.
It's ready to go.
So don't be afraid of speeding up your backswing. And it's a matter of, I think, getting used to it. Because up to this point, you didn't see the need for faster backswing, right?
Yeah, like I think I was anticipating this was going to be a lot of the conversation, but then it's nice to have the data.
So it's a matter of being getting used to it. So
yeah,
once you just admit that the faster backswing is beneficial, then suddenly your perspective changes,
yeah,
and then your body motion changes with.
yeah,
So if it's just a matter of choices, you can certainly choose slow backswing or faster backswing, either one. That's okay.
right,
But when we look at all these data, how you work with the ground and things like that,
yeah,
then faster backswing has many advantages
yes.
compared to the slow backswing.
I can visualize too when I'm doing it. I see the from the frontal, like face on plane. Like I can see the arrows in my feet. Like I want this one,
This
I
and
want
then
one.
this.
Yes. yes.
And so oftentimes, just by putting the first button in the right hole,
Yeah.
then all the rest will be in place.
Same.
So, and then it could be as simple as just the faster backswing and then activating your legs.
Right.
So have more leg-driven swing.
Instincts will take
So when you do the step swings and then rope swings, you have to activate the legs. So one way to do that is keep having small steps during the swing. When you repeat the swing, always have, for a while, always have a small steps.
Yes.
When you lift the foot, that means a complete unloading.
Right.
When you step on it, you have a good loading here. So by taking steps, you're automatically unloading, loading. You're repeating this.
Off the ground.
Yeah, that's all you need. And then have a bit more knee extension. Yeah.
Push it more.
Then it'll be more active.
Yeah, that's the one that I haven't been able to really.
And then also when you push, then the hip has to go up here.
Right.
Bring up and up.
I think just extending the leg gets
So,
it as up as it can.
Sometimes what happens is you just the pelvis is turning horizontally here, then turning. Even if you're stepping, but you're turning here. Instead, stand up, bring up,
Yeah.
up. So that way you'll be able to keep the top almost the stationary, and then you are moving
Yes.
within this triangular space like
Right.
this. The key is moving the hip up. So then you have to really use the knee extension to do that. But if the knee extends and then hip goes backward quite a bit, then you're spinning. It promotes a spinning motion.
It's got to be the push up this way.
So imagine you have elastic bands here,
Yeah.
pulling up. Instead of holding it, just spinning like this. Yeah, you're starting more. Yeah. Then automatically you go to a more centered or slight reverse pivot alignment for the thorax. Yeah. So, okay. So let's stop here.